All right.
Do, do, do. All right.
All right. Yeah. You want to state your position first before we get started, or what?
Whereabouts on what's that?
What I mean, you several things. You made the post. Okay.
True, true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a couple of things. UBI, inequality,
O-
being poor.
Okay. What
Which
what do
one?
you what do you have against the? Okay. I know you. What do you have against the UBI and why?
Okay, this is my whole thing with UBI. I think it runs totally contrary and it contradicts everything. And I say this from a position as someone that came into the whole IBMOR SYSBM thing, late, after all you guys started it, but it goes completely contrary and contradicts what IBMOR stands for, as far as self-reliance, self-determination, all that. I mean,
How,
it's like, hmm
go ahead.
yeah, because I
How
mean,
does
on the
you
one hand, mhm.
how does the UBI stop that?
I mean, UBI is saying, hey, it pretty much it takes a responsibility and it takes ownership of your outcome out of your hands and saying, you know what,
Uh,
the shit is gonna hit the. Am I allowed to curse on here?
yeah.
Okay,
Go.
and it
Feel
says, you
free.
know what? Thanks. It says, you know what? The shit is gonna hit the fan. Stuff is gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen. There's no
Mm-hmm.
way out of it. This is the only solution. There's nothing that you can do about it. And matter of fact, it's not gonna happen now. It's not gonna happen 5 years. It's gonna happen 10 years from now, hypothetically speaking. And even though you know that it's right now today that's gonna happen in 10 years, there still ain't shit you can do about it. I'm just hardwired. I'm just programmed. I just can't think like that. And I
Okay.
think
Uh,
it contradicts the
Okay. Why?
whole message of self. Mhm.
So why are you not programmed like that?
Because it's a defeatist mentality. It's a
How,
failure
how,
mentality.
how's that?
Because I mean, it's saying that okay, I mean that it's out of my hands. That my ability to earn, my ability to go ahead and sustain myself is going to be out of my hands. That there's going to be nothing I can do about it. It's going to happen 10 years from now, and even if I know today, there's nothing that I could do today, tonight, tomorrow, in these next 24 hours, this next day, 2 days, this next week, there's this next year, 5 years. There's nothing I can do
So where does
to change.
where on earth did you hear that the UBI ever said that?
That UBI ever
The
said that.
universal basic income never said that.
Okay, then please correct me where I'm
In
wrong.
other words, it guarantees a minimum income
hmm
enough so that you can clothe, feed, and shelter yourself. Period. That's
No,
it.
no. Okay. The problem with that, in my opinion, the problem with that, in my opinion, is the same problem. And I don't want to distract conversation, but the issue when you have these people pushing for a higher minimum wage.
Uh
It's
huh.
like saying, you know what I'm saying, why do you want to, of course, you want to have enough money, enough income to go ahead and feed your family, to put, food on the table, this, that, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not somewhere you're supposed to stay at. You know what I'm saying? It's just some shit that you're supposed to go ahead and pass through on.
Mm-hmm.
So, just some milk in the fridge. I mean, thank you. If I'm ever asked out, yeah, I'm gonna need that, but I don't plan on being there. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And no man, especially no black man,
Uh
should
huh.
think like that. Should even
Okay.
think like that. Should even entertain that thought. And
Okay.
that's just my option.
Okay. So because you're looking at it from where? What vantage point are you looking at from an individualistic vantage point, right?
Listen, I
No, no, no,
believe
no.
in a safety net.
I
Okay,
asked a question.
sure.
You're looking at it from your standpoint, right?
I'm looking at it from my standpoint, as
Mm-hmm.
well as taking mine. I have an older brother who who had an engineering degree, full ride scholarship to college to Pitt, and
Mm-hmm.
then transferred to MIT.
Mm-hmm.
And today he walks on the streets and picks cigarette butts out of ashtrays and smokes them. He's mentally disabled. Didn't get in a car accident, just some shit happened. We don't know if he had a nervous breakdown or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
somebody like him, he's always going to, but God, thank God he did some time in the military or whatever that little thing was that you do in high school,
Okay.
ROTC or whatever. So he
Mm-hmm.
gets that supplement of money. But my whole thinking was, if that shit goes away, I'm still going to have to be able to provide for him. So I'm not just thinking about myself. Oh, I'm big, I'm bad, I'm courageous. Again, I've got an older brother who is dependent, who gets
But
aid from.
you're still thinking from an individualistic standpoint. You're not understanding what I'm
Oh,
saying.
okay. So let's say I am.
Okay,
Go.
okay,
hmm
okay, okay, okay. I'm gonna let you finish because I'm gonna let you get it all out. I'm gonna let you
I'm
finish. I'm
done.
not gonna. You done? Okay.
Yeah.
Say I make say for some mishap, some odd quirk. Donald Trump dies and they make you president of the United States. You feel me?
hmm
Okay. You have competition all over the world. People,
hmm
some workers making $2-3 a day.
hmm
Okay. And you got 100. You have it. You don't have 1 million people out of work. You don't have 2, 10, 20, 30 million people out of work. You have 100 million people out of work, and the prospects of finding comparable jobs for them to maintain a American lifestyle is bleak.
Okay,
So
so I mean, if you say 100 million, so so pretty much we're talking about like 30% unemployment because there's roughly around 300 million people in this country. So if you're
you have,
talking 100
you
million, that
have
means we have a 30
no,
percent
no.
unemployment rate.
You have a 41%. You have a 41% non-participation rate. Remember, you have 324 million people. How many of those people are children under the age of 18?
Correct.
So you have 240. You have approximately 240 million adults.
Okay.
So now redo the math. How many people are out of work?
If we're going by 100 million, so and so, they would say we got a 50% unemployment or
40,
unemployment rate or
40,
non-participation rate.
non-participation rate. In other words, they can't find. They've given up. There is no jobs for them. So you're talking about 40 to 45% of your people.
Okay. And of course, this is all hypothetical, but go
No,
ahead.
no, no, no. It's not hypothetical. This is fact.
Mm.
This is actual. You can look up.
Today, today.
You
Oh,
look
mhm,
up the labor participation rate. Labor participation rate is 61%. In other words, no, those are the adults that are not in the
mhm.
workforce, period. Okay, that aren't looking for jobs and have been taken off the unemployment roll, so they're not counted as unemployed. And then you have upwards of a 10% unemployment.
Okay. So, okay. So, all right, go ahead. You didn't
And,
answer. I'm
and
gonna
we're not
jump in there unless you have a
and we're
question.
not and we're not even counting. And we're not even counting the people who are what they call the working poor that are working under the poverty line. We're not even counting those people.
Okay.
So you count them. If you count them, we're talking about upwards of like 60% of your people are below the poverty. Your adults are below the poverty line.
I'm tracking. I'm following. All
You
right.
following? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay. Now, like I said, I basically, and I've been telling you. I know you've been hearing me. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
channel is not for sheep, right? This is not
Correct.
for people looking around and looking out. If you want to look out for yourself and be individualistic and go for it, I mean, there's people that do that. People that do that all the time. I'm not even counting that. This is not what I'm even talking about. We're talking about an umbrella global perspective, how the elite look at us from the top down. The UBI is not a poor person's initiative. Poor people didn't ask for this. Poor people asked for jobs.
But you're saying there aren't any jobs.
The job, what they're saying is the jobs are dwindling already, and automation is just getting started. It hasn't even hit its stride yet. It's just getting started. It's not even. In other words, basically, if to put it in a term that most black folks can understand. Okay, automation is not even on the freeway. They're not even at the off ramp, the on ramp yet. Okay, they're at the stoplight, basically gearing up to get to drive towards the on ramp. That's where we are as far as automation.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. So automation is not the problem with people not being able to go ahead and find jobs in this country. Do you agree that there
No,
are people that just will not just take any old job, that just refuse to take certain types of jobs and certain types of employment? I know them.
okay,
I
you
was
know,
bank.
okay,
I know them.
okay, okay, even if, okay, just take for instance, even if there's jobs for people to take, are there 100 million?
hmm We don't have 100 million unemployed or even underemployed. Okay, we have
Really?
the minute you give. Listen, I'm speaking this from all I can speak about is from what I know from personal experience. For example, well, go ahead.
What I'm saying is, I, I said it's not nothing that I made up.
hmm
I pray the guy I learned from, who's been doing this for 50 years, Craig Hewlett. That's why I played his sound. So in other words, the reason I play other people's voices
hmm
is so that, okay, you can disagree with me. That's fine. You can disagree with what I come up with. That's fine. But when I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people saying the exact same thing that are credible, more than credible, have been doing this for a whole
hmm
long time, and you
Okay,
can actually go back and
you
look
see,
this stuff up. That's what
you,
I'm
you,
saying. Look, that's what I'm saying. You're not doing your
okay.
homework. Look this stuff up. Go ahead.
You see, the thing
Oh,
is,
one question I do
Mhm.
want to ask you. Why don't you believe there's
Sure.
100 million people out of work?
Listen, if there's 100 million people, there could be 150 million people out of work. That doesn't mean there's not 100 million people that can't find a job, or there's 100 million people that cannot get employed.
Really?
That I know that to be a fact.
Really?
Okay,
How? How? No, no,
case
no,
in
no, no.
point,
How? How? How?
mhm.
How? No, I don't want
Okay,
case. Okay, give me your case in point, and I want point me to the proof where
okay,
you dispute what the government
uh,
is
uh,
actually saying.
sure, sure. I can. Okay, look, I can just give you personal experience right here.
Okay.
I was dating this one sister last year, and she had a house, big old house, a couple hundred grand. She had a Mercedes, she had a Volkswagen, this and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She had been collecting unemployment for like 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason she was because she was getting more in unemployment than she would if she had went ahead and gotten a job, and they kept on extending those unemployment benefits.
Mm-hmm.
You know who she was ardently voting for or going to go ahead and vote for?
Mm-hmm.
Bernie Sanders. Why? Because Bernie Sanders guaranteed we're going to go ahead and give you more dollars. We're going to take more from these people. The government's going to go ahead and give you more. We're going to pay off these loans, pay off this, pay off that. If you incentivize people to not get out there and pick up a bucket and a rag, you know what? They're not going to pick up a bucket and a rag. What I'm speaking about doesn't come from people who are scholars who are behind this. I got a homeboy who tries to tell me all the time about business and about
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship. He went to
Mm-hmm.
college. He's got a PhD. He studied economics, but you know what? He's never had to put payroll on a credit card. I've been I, I've been unemployable for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've had to create my own economies. But this brother swears that he knows more about business, about market, about sales, about how to get a customer, all these things because he studied it, because he's went to the books. These are the same people who told America last year that was the elitists on the left coast, and I mean on the east coast and the west coast, that said there's no way that this guy can win because they weren't down in the trenches. They weren't talking to everyday American people. So when people say, for another example, to go and change gears real quick, when people say, "Oh,
What?
the problem in the black community," let me just, I need
Okay.
like 15
No,
more
no, no,
seconds.
no. Okay,
So
okay, okay.
15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15
Okay.
seconds.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on a second. In other
Yes,
words,
sir.
what I
Yes,
need you
sir.
to do for us to have a
hmm
dialogue is not
mm
add 50 different, 10 different subjects. Stick to one
It's
subject.
all related.
No, no.
It's
Even
all
if it's all,
related. It's
even
all
if it's no, no. Hold on a
it's all.
second. Even if it's
mhm.
all related, I can't respond to 6 different points, can I?
But I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it all home. I'm
Okay.
gonna bring it all home. All you gotta do is
Okay.
give me 15 seconds.
No,
All you
no,
gotta do
no.
is give me 15.
No. I'm
Uh-huh.
do better now. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I need is like 15 seconds.
No, no. I'm gonna give you
So
2 minutes.
it's
No,
a,
go ahead.
it's the
So
same.
you
It's
say
the
15.
same thing.
You say
It's the
15.
same thing. It's
You
the
say
same thing.
you say
It's the
15.
same thing. It's the
You
same
say
things when you.
Go
mhm.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. You got 2 minutes. Go
It's
ahead.
a, It's the same thing when you have these talking heads on TV that saying, okay, the problem in the black community is this, is this, is this, is that, is this white, this, is that. They've never been in the hood. They've never ran in the hood. They never gang banged. They never sold drugs. They never fucked with strippers and hoes. They never been there. They never fucked single mothers. They never see just how fucked up and corrupt shit is in the hood to say, you know what? these problems that we're having down here, these problems aren't from external sources. All this shit is self-made because we've seen it in person. So now that ties into the whole thing about America and Trump and how people thought he was. I'm not a super big Trump guy. When people say, "Oh, he's not going to get elected," they weren't tied in. They weren't down in the trenches.
So when we talk about Trump,
when people are saying, "Okay, this thing, all these people are unemployed. They can't find jobs. They can't find this. They can't find that," I'm saying you are not down here on the streets. Okay, I cannot tell you how many times I've had brothers ask me, man, I like the way you're running your business, your marketing, the type of customers that you're having. Can you tell me how to do this? Whoom to whoom. I'm like, cool, sure. You know what, homie? Call me at about 4. Call me tomorrow morning at 5 o'clock. I'm gonna tell you everything I got. You know how many people call me? None.
10,
okay, so everybody's
9,
got excuses.
8.
But
7,
I'm down here in the trenches speaking
6,
from what's really happening because I
5,
see it every day. So I'm not guessing.
4,
Okay, this isn't theory.
3,
I'm speaking fact.
2,
there
1.
You go.
It's not fact.
It is fact.
It's not. It's your experience, but it's not fact.
Okay, which is fact.
Okay. So in other words, you've been in the trenches. You've been all over the country, and you've basically personally shook hands with all 340 million people.
No, of course not.
So in other words, you've been to every city, and you know exactly who can work and where the jobs are and what jobs the people can actually have.
There's plenty of opportunity out here. There's plenty of opportunity in this country. There's not a lack of opportunity, bro.
I asked you a question. Have you,
bro?
No.
Of course not. No,
you have not. Okay.
No.
That's all.
I've not met 340 million people.
In other words, the thing is, what I don't like, and the reason why people had to beg me to start doing this again, because I'm sure you've been with me long enough. I stopped doing it, right?
I've been around for about 4 months, about 4 months.
Because I stopped doing it. Okay. The reason I stopped doing it is because you get tired of debating people with a limited point of view. Okay. This is a global problem. Okay. In other words, why do you think I don't even put out 5% of the automation stories I actually have?
What's the problem? What's a problem?
Okay. Well, in other words,
opportunity?
No.
There is no lack of opportunity in this country.
Okay, you're going to answer yourself.
What's the problem?
Is that a question for me?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a job that you think will be there in 10 years.
A job that will be here in 10 years.
Give me one.
Okay. The AI sex doll industry.
The AI sex doll. Okay. Just say the AI sex doll industry. Who makes those dolls?
Why not you and I? Why not us?
Who makes the dolls now?
Why not us?
Who's going to make better dolls?
Why can't that be us?
Because why? Because you don't. Because you know how long it takes. Okay. Are you asking me a question, or you want to answer it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. What I'm saying is, the Chinese and the Koreans is where all the technology is, because we transported it over there like 25 years ago. Okay, the Chinese are so far in advance of where we are. It's ridiculous as far as that is concerned. And then the Japanese on top of that, who invented the category. Okay, how many people can you train to actually program an AI?
Okay, so the Chinese are manufacturing the AI sex dolls just as they are manufacturing just about damn near everything else in this country. So what? So what?
There's a question for you.
So what?
No, there's a question for you. Wait a minute.
They do our manufacturing. The Chinese have been doing our manufacturing. That's nothing new, brother. That's nothing.
I asked you a question. How many people do you think can actually program an AI?
Why do I need people when you can already outsource it to the Chinese?
So in other words, you're taking, okay, you've already taken jobs out of the country already, right? Because you're making a Chinese. So in other words,
you just listen.
uh,
If those dolls are being sold today in this country by white boys, okay, the
okay,
white boys are having it manufactured overseas, right?
okay, yeah.
Okay, so all I'm saying is what I was saying is what's stopping us? There's nothing stopping us. You asked me what job is going to be here in 10 years. I said that job.
Okay,
There's not, and then I also added there's nothing that's stopping us from getting in that game.
Okay, you say that job to do. Okay, that job is doing what?
That's the sex doll industry. It's going to be in 10 years.
Okay, okay. What are you doing? Are you manufacturing? Are you programming? Are you selling? We're talking about sex doll industry. What are you doing?
Okay, so listen.
No. I asked you a question.
Geez, if I wait, how can I start to answer a question and then you go and you cut me off?
Because you're not answering
Jesus
the question.
Christ.
Because you're not answering the question.
I can't answer the question if you're telling me no.
No. Okay, dude. I'll say
I'm listening. I'm listening.
I'll say you got 2 minutes. Answer the question any way you want. I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
Okay, so currently today, okay, so if you have these sex dolls that are being sold in this country and it's being sold by these white boys and they have their manufacturing done overseas, okay, cool. All I'm saying is there's nothing stopping anybody black, any brother from getting into that game. If you got the capital, you can go ahead and make those connections, go ahead and get in that game. But the first thing anybody's going to say, but this, but that, how you going to do this?
You haven't told me what the jobs are.
See, I don't have 2 minutes. I thought I had 2 minutes, brother.
I know, but you did. What I'm saying is you're not answering the question. I asked you a question, and you're not answering. What are the jobs?
You asked me a question.
Details.
Okay, sales, selling them.
Okay.
Listen, look here. All I got to do, I can get those dolls, okay? I'm gonna give you brass tacks right here, right now. I can get them dolls from the white dudes right now that are selling it. I can buy those dolls retail right now, okay? This is just the way I think, and I can mark it up. Because based on my marketing, I can add my little fig to it and just go ahead and just resell the same damn thing. Put me up a website, find some place to go ahead and market to some doggone truckers or the this or the that, and sell them same dolls that I buy here in the United States and sell it to someone else and just get me a little fig off of it. I don't have to fuck with any Chinese doing the manufacturing. I don't have to fuck with any importing. All I got to do is I can get that shit stateside. And then as my money and my capital, as my capital builds up, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna cut out the white boy and see if I can make a connect with those Asian cats over there. Catch a plane over there, make those connect. It's the same shit as a doggone dope game, dog.
Shorten it up. Well, who are your customers?
You cutting out the middleman.
Who are
truckers? Truck drivers.
Okay,
truck drivers. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's gonna be AI.
Yeah.
Right.
Automated trucks.
It's gonna be all AI. It's gonna be all AI.
Yeah, it's gonna be automated trucks.
Fuck it. Single blue collar guys.
Doing what?
Blue collar work.
Doing what?
PGS, blue collar work.
Doing what?
Roofers, plumbers, landscapers. Yeah.
Okay, landscapers.
What?
Okay. Okay, you can do landscaping. Okay, they have to have. What do they have to? Landscapers have to have what?
A shovel.
Customers. Customers have to have what?
For a landscaper, yard, flowers.
No, the customers have to have what?
Trees, shrubs.
No, the customers have to have what? You have to get paid, right?
What
do they have to have?
Well, they gotta have some bread, man.
Yeah, have some money. Where do they get it from?
Yeah. There's no lack of money in this country, bro.
Where? In other words, if there's no lack of money in this country, then the UBI is fine. But what I'm saying is,
where is that money gonna go and come from? Brothers have asked you left and right. Where's the money gonna go and come from?
It's going to be. Really, it doesn't really matter where it comes from. If the government,
really,
yes,
it doesn't matter.
If the governments want to, where's the okay? Your friend that was on unemployment for 18 months. Where did the money come from?
From the government, and the government gets it from taxes.
No, it came from credit.
Oh, are you talking about like the Federal Reserve and those bonds and this and that and all that stuff? Yeah, and the whole debt.
And the whole deficit. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think I went ahead and posted this on one of your threads the other day. This country right now is 19, and I'll even put the link
21.
there. It's $21 trillion in debt. Okay,
yeah. And that's that's the public debt.
If we realize,
that's the federal public debt.
if we realize the liabilities that we have on the books today to those boomers that are retiring, that debt is now 200 or what was it, $261 trillion.
Did I not?
Okay,
Did I not?
I mean,
Did I not play a audio saying the exact same
mhm.
thing? $64 trillion
Okay,
owed to the
okay,
Social Security Fund.
okay, exactly. So now you want to add even more to that. Or is it? It's a thinker just, you know what? We are fucked anyway, so we just might as well just go ahead and just. It's already fucked up, so it doesn't matter how much more we're going to add to it. Just everybody throw whatever you got into it, and then we'll just go ahead and just even it out amongst everybody.
Okay. Do you
Is
know?
that
Do,
well? I won't be here. I won't be here. I got
okay.
passport in hand.
Yeah, but the UBI is global. It's not local. It's global.
No, listen. That shit. It's not happening. It's
Why?
not. It's not. It's not gonna happen. It's
Why?
not gonna happen.
Why?
Okay, because it's not, one, it's not practical. Two, oh shit, it's the way. Oh god, it doesn't need. It can't happen. It can't happen. That shit cannot happen, man.
So
It
why?
cannot happen.
Why are all
Jesus,
why?
why?
Okay, can I ask you a question?
I can't even think like that. Why would we want some guaranteed minimum
Okay.
income? We are able-bodied men. Why are we even thinking this way?
Is that a question?
Why are we even thinking this way?
It's not.
I can understand if we're handicapped. If we're handicapped,
slow down. Slow down. I'm getting ready to tell you. It's not, number one, it's not you. Okay, it's you. Like I said in the what did I say in the beginning? Did poor people ask for the universal basic income? No, they didn't. Who is actually pushing the universal basic income? That's what you need to know. Who's pushing it?
and that tells you everything right there, man.
Okay, what does it tell you?
That tells you everything right there. Who is behind it? If you tell me that there are billionaires, the Zuckerbergs, the Bezos, the Elon Musk, they're saying we have them. Yeah, there's the
little guys.
Who?
Little guys. The heads of 134 nations are behind it.
Okay. And does any of that ring like the globalist bell in your head, kind of, sort of?
You're already globalist. What are you talking about?
There's this saying, if you find yourself in a hole, just stop digging.
Okay.
Just stop digging.
Okay.
Okay. So just because we have all these trillions in debt, okay, fuck it. Stop digging. How can we just stop? I'm not saying we're going to figure out how to get the fuck out of here. Just stop. Okay. So if the folks are already trying to get into this globalist economy or whatever, just stop it. Get us out of NAFTA. Get us. Okay. Oh, check this out. So get us out of NAFTA. Get us out of that. What was that little trade thing, pan-centrific trade thing that we got out of? That was a fuck turd of a goddamn agreement anyway. We got out of that. Just stop digging the hole.
It was dead anyway.
So just we stop digging these holes, okay? So, it's not to say that there won't be another force coming saying we need to push UBI, we need to push healthcare for everybody. Listen, some of us don't want to pay for healthcare.
Preme, one thing you have to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Preme, one thing you have to do is shorten it up if you want to talk, okay? Because you want on 5-minute soliloquies, right? And you don't. You don't even understand the problem. Why do you think? Why you think 6,000 or 10,000 of the richest, most influential people on the planet will come together and try something as risky and as seemingly as stupid as universal basic income on a global scale that's never been tried before? Why do you think they would do that?
Why would you be so naive as to think they would do that because it's in your best interest and not theirs? How could you be that naive?
It is in their best interest, but why is it in their best interest?
It's in their best interest, not ours.
Why do you think that is?
I don't even need to. Listen, I already know. Listen, I already know that the shit is rigged. I don't need to know anything else. If you're telling, go ahead.
I want to hear the shit out of this. I want to hear you explain this. Why would they? I want to hear you.
Bruh,
you got 2 minutes. In fact, hold on. Let Be fair. I'm gonna bring out my phone with my stopwatch.
Yeah, because
I'm gonna
sometimes when you holler
hold on.
when you holler 2
We can,
minutes, them been about 17
no,
seconds, and yeah, man,
no, not really.
yeah, man.
Have you ever heard my hangouts?
Man,
For the
man, them
last
joints be like 8 hours. They be like 8 hours.
for the last month, I have been timing people because there's so many people on the hang. I have become very good at knowing how long people talk. And trust me, you said 15 seconds.
Well,
And
yeah, but then
I had to stop you. I had to count
All right,
down.
cool,
Otherwise
cool,
you'd
cool,
have
cool.
made it in
All right,
5.
cool, cool.
But
You're
I am.
right. You're right. You're right.
But I'm gonna put
You're
a
right.
stopwatch. Go. You got 2 minutes. I want to hear
My
shit.
bad.
Go.
Okay, so listen. Where what I was saying was that listen. All I got to know is you're telling me 100 countries, the richest people in the world, they want to go ahead and push this. That's all I need to hear. Okay. I already know from that it's fucked up because they're gonna do what's in their self-interest. I don't trust it. Me, I like choice. Okay. I want choice. If I don't want health insurance, don't go ahead and mandate me to get health insurance. If I choose to eat healthy, stay active, and I don't want to pay for health insurance, give me that choice. If I don't want universal means everybody. Okay, if I don't want you in my pockets mandating what I earn, you know what I'm saying? Because it's something that you want to give to everybody. I want that choice. I don't want shit mandated for me. I didn't sign up for that program. Okay, I was blessed to be born somewhere else. My mom was an American citizen. I was able to get over here. You know what I'm saying? I like this. I like the freedom of choice, the freedom of choosing or whatever. So all this shit that we're talking about, universal this, universal that shit right there for me personally, yeah, that ain't my flow. I like to be self-determined. You know what I'm saying? If I find myself upside down, ass out, it's because I did it. Okay, I don't want someone saying, "Hey, listen, you can only have 3 eggs this week and a quart of milk this week." I don't want someone else putting me ass out. I want to be ass out because of my own fucked up. Because I fucked up, and I want to go as high as I possibly
30
can
seconds.
because I did it. That's it. That's it.
it.
I'm good for now. I'm good for now.
Okay. In other words, if 6,000 of the world's richest people in 134 countries said it's going to happen, guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen?
Not UBI.
Why not? If all the powerful countries in the planet,
nope.
This is what's going to happen. What's going to stop it?
Because it's bullshit. It's not going to happen. Because there's 134 people. How many people again? How many?
134 countries.
134 countries. 134 countries said how many people? You said people earlier.
No, that's it. It's 6,000 of the most influential people on the planet.
Fuck them.
Okay.
Fuck them.
Okay.
Fuck them.
Okay. Fuck them.
There's Fuck them.
How are you gonna stop it?
Listen, no, because there's how many billions of how many?
Well, how are you gonna stop it?
Are you ready for my answer?
No.
Are you ready for my answer?
No. How are you gonna stop it? Not 8 billion people.
Are you ready?
How are you gonna stop it? Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Because there's over 1 billion of me in this world that's not gonna fall for that bullshit.
Okay.
6,000 people are not going to, no. Fuck them. So you know what I'm saying? Whatever they're planning, that shit is not gonna fly.
So if 1 billion people have an answer and have an alternative, how come they haven't proposed it?
This shit is not even needed. Why do we need it? Why do we need it? We don't need it. We don't need money being rationed out. There is no lack of opportunity in this country. Okay, listen, bro, listen.
Okay,
bro, listen.
Now. Did I not let you speak for 2 minutes uninterrupted?
I'm listening.
Okay. Now you ask, why do we need it, right?
I'm not saying why do we need it. I'm saying we don't need it.
Okay, we don't need. Okay, so let me give you a scenario because like I said, you only been listening for 4 months, and you have. I'm assuming that you know very little about the global financial architecture, right?
Bro, I'm an American that lives in Georgia. Okay,
I asked a question.
Listen, I can't worry about the tea in Timbuktu. I can't worry about what's going on in Timbuktu.
You have to.
Okay. No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
The hell if I do? Excuse my French, but that bullshit.
Okay, what? Okay,
Bullshit.
say.
Unless they fucking with us,
Hold on a
or
second.
we fucking with them,
Hold on a
that's
second.
it. If
Okay.
they got issues, they got issues.
Okay,
If they up there
I'll
doing
give,
well, they up there doing well.
bro. If you're gonna talk through
We
me,
got our own problems. We got our own problems.
bro. Are we having a discussion, or you want me to give you another 2 minutes so you can rant? Which one do you want?
I'm listening.
Okay. You say you live in Georgia. I assume it's Atlanta, right?
Oh,
Somewhere
hell
around
no.
there.
Nah.
Huh?
I live in North Georgia.
Okay. So you live on a farm on a mountain away from all the public, right?
You are 2 for 2. Hell yeah.
Okay.
Damn near.
So in other words, you generate your own electricity, you pump your own water, you grow your own food, and you are completely off the grid, and nobody's around you, right?
Believe it or not, I'm looking at some solar lights right now.
I mean,
go ahead.
So how do you earn your money? Or do you earn money?
No. We're not going there.
We don't have to go there. I'm saying that, do you? I'm saying is, in other words, you don't generate any outside income. That's what I'm saying.
I'm self-employed.
In other words, you have customers.
Yeah, clients.
Or clients. Okay. Basically, the China's holding on to something like $4 trillion of American debt.
Mm-hmm.
And if they throw that back and the dollar crashes, have you ever seen what happens to an energy economy when they don't have any energy, or they can't afford the energy?
If a dog had a square butt, he pooped bricks, as Shannon Sharp would say. If.
No,
If.
Well, Well, thing is, you throwing out a whole bunch of ifs.
No, where? No, I'm not.
In other
That's
words,
you. That's you.
Okay. In other words, why do you think the military just asked for more money to keep sustain American primacy? Why do you think they did that?
Because the military always asks for more money. The Pentagon always wants more money, which is fine. I don't have any problem with that.
See, in other words,
we don't have anybody else's boots on these grounds. I'm cool.
In other words, I'm talking to somebody that doesn't know anything about the global architecture, that doesn't even know anything about the banks, that doesn't even know how trade works, that doesn't even know how the finances work, and doesn't know that for I would say 90%.
I don't know what the cost of tea is in China right now. No, I do not.
So in other words,
but I know how to make a buck.
Well, yeah, you know how to make a buck. In this environment,
I know how to make a buck.
In this environment,
I thrived during the recession. Okay, during the recession when everybody else was ass out upside down, shit was hectic. But I thrived because I doubled down. You know why? Because I knew everybody else would be scary as hell, and nobody would go and do shit.
So in other words,
so I went out there and I hustled my ass off in that environment.
Let me know when you finish talking.
Okay.
So I don't cut you off.
Well, go ahead.
So in other words, if President Obama doesn't issue food stamps and doesn't extend the unemployment from 6 months to sometimes 2.5 years, and doesn't keep the money flowing, what happens to your clients?
How long do I have to answer? Because this is important. This is important.
You want 2 minutes? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Okay, give me 2 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And who was it? Somebody, and this is why anybody who's going to open up a business, and I've said this for years, and the other cats in my industry that I consult with, I said this to them, especially the brothers. You always are, and this ties into my whole thing about the recession. You always, no matter what it is you're selling, you always want to target the higher end of the market. Because when shit gets a little tight and everybody else starts tightening up and they start hunkering down, there's certain people you want to be doing business with, those people who have more disposable income. Okay, so I don't care if you're cleaning carpets. I don't care if you are selling shoes, selling t-shirts, doing massages, doing personal training. You don't want to be the $40, a session personal trainer. You want to be a personal trainer that's charging $200 an hour. You always want to target the higher end of the market, especially Black people and definitely Black men. And that ties in exactly to my whole thing about the recession. I'm not saying it's because I was a badass. It's because I selectively chose who I went ahead and did business with. So when people say my customers are this, my customer are that, I always tell them, you went out there and you chose them. You picked them. Okay. And this has nothing to do with being bourgeoisie or being uppity, but this is being pragmatic. You know what I'm saying? Again,
30
during the
seconds.
recession, I may personally have hunkered down a little bit, but my clients certainly did not. They still had the disposable income to pay for the product and the service that I was selling to them or I was offering to them at that time. So no, if it doesn't extend food stamps or this or that or whatever, won't affect me one fucking bit at
Done.
all, and it never will.
Got 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. In other words,
Mhm.
where do your clients get their money?
Oh man, from the bank.
Come on, man.
I mean, come on, dude. I mean, I got over 2,400 clients, man.
And
You want to answer how
where did
what
they
I
get their
got,
money? Where did they get
man?
man, come on, man. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Don't bullshit
Brother,
me. Don't bullshit me.
respect,
No, 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 no. Don't,
respectfully,
no, no, no,
brother,
no, 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 no. Don't do that.
respectfully.
Don't do that. Hey, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. I'm not doing it to
But
you.
brother,
No, 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 no. You talked, okay? I I asked you, where do your
you,
clients get their money?
you what each and every one of them?
Yes.
You mean like their place of employment? What type of job they do? I mean,
Who are,
huh?
who are their customers?
Okay, okay. Let me. I'll just answer that question
Real
broadly and
quick,
say
real quick, real quick, real
I have
quick.
no
In
idea.
other
Please
words,
tell me.
yes. In other words,
Tell me. Tell me.
they
Tell
get
me.
they get it from the
Hmm.
people that get it from the people that are on food stamps, that are on unemployment, that have to spend and consume whatever merchandise or services that they have. Now,
Hmm.
those your customers are worried about it because they know their customers will go away. Just like
Shit.
Walmart. Walmart is oh, excuse.
Shit,
Okay,
brother.
okay.
That money, that man.
So in other words,
Bruh.
why do you think Obama basically spent because basically when Obama entered office, the deficit was
He
the
did
deficit.
that shit for votes,
Are you going to
man. They
interrupt?
did.
Are you going to interrupt me? Because I gave you 2 minutes and I didn't interrupt you, did I?
It's your show. I apologize.
Because you get mad when I interrupt you, don't you?
I don't get mad.
Well, in other words, you let me know that I'm interrupting you, right? And
No,
I
I'm
have
just,
and I have
I'm making you aware. I just,
and I have
again,
tried. I have
I
no, no, no. Hold on.
apologize. I
Hold on.
apologize. I
Okay.
apologize.
In other
Go
words,
ahead.
you keep doing it. That's what I'm taking. We talked about it about 3 or 4 times. In other words, if basically the deficit was $8 trillion when Obama took office. Okay, when
Hmm.
he left, it was 21 trillion. Where do you think that money went?
Bank bailouts, crony capitalism, Clinton Foundation, welfare,
Welfare.
social programs. My older brother,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, all over the
Yeah,
place.
all over the
Yeah.
place, right?
Hmm.
In other words, there is without
Hmm.
those people, there is no economy. Why do you think he bailed out Why do you think he bailed out the automakers? In other words, okay, means you don't know. In other words, the reason he bailed out the automakers, people were mad that he bailed out the automakers. Oh, 3 automakers that are giants, or
So
four of them. Four. And hold on, you gonna let me finish? In other
I'm
words,
just I'm just
four.
breathing.
Okay, 3 or 4 automakers. Why you bail them out? Okay, because if they go under, they take 3,000 other corporate businesses, 3 or 4,000, 10,000 businesses with them that employ sometimes 30, 40, 50 to 100 people. So in other words, yeah, they may collapse, and you may take 20,000, maybe 30,000 jobs with them, but you multiply that by 10. Good paying jobs. We're not talking about welfare. We're not talking about minimum. We're talking about good paying jobs, the people that pay taxes and pay into the system that actually keep the system afloat. That's how come he did it. Okay, the reason there's bank bailouts is because the banks would have frozen up, which they're still on the verge of freezing up. Have you ever been through a bank? Have you ever been through a bank run?
I mean, I've personally done a bank run. Oh yeah.
Well, that's a joke.
I said I've personally. No, that's real.
But do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
So you've been through a bank run where
I've done a bank run. Yeah.
Okay. What bank run did you do?
Went around and I fucking snatched cash.
So in other words, you know what I mean by when I said bank run, a run on a bank.
Yeah, when everybody runs to the bank to get the money out because they don't think it's gonna be there.
And then what happens?
And then the bank closes the door and says, "No, we can't give you guys all your money. We're gonna dole it out a little bit at a time." Or the bank runs out of money.
Or they take a bank holiday, right? Okay, right. What happens? What happens if the bank?
When was the last time that happened here?
The closest we came to was in 2008. I forget the name of the bank it was where there was going to be a bank run, and the Federal Deposit Insurance actually stepped in and took the bank over, and they didn't get their money that day, but they got their money within a couple of weeks. The FDIC actually stepped in, so you never had a bank run, but that's the closest we had. Because if one bank gets run on, say Wells Fargo, because they're the weak sister, right? Say Wells Fargo, which is a fairly big bank, and they have a bank run, and basically they're already underwater, and people come in and demand all their money, and they have to close down, right? What's going to happen to what's going to happen to Bank of America?
And what is it about the way how a bank functions?
I asked a question.
What is it about the way a bank functions that makes it run out of money? So if a bank has if a bank has $1 on deposit, that bank can legally lend out how much? If it has $1 on deposit,
legally it's supposed to be between 1 and 12. Do you know what it is now?
What is it now?
It is.
I thought it was 14.
No,
it's 30. It's 30.
So in other words, what I asked you.
So you see the problem.
Did I ask? Right? I asked you a specific question for a specific reason. Okay. If I don't even if you understand it, then I don't even have to go through the scenario, do I? Because you understand what's going to happen, right? So in other words, if Wells Fargo gets run on, and you bank in at, say, Bank of America or Chase or whoever, right? What are you going to do?
You let the banks fail. Let the banks fail. Okay. I'm one of those people that took the position. Let the banks fail. Don't bail the banks out. Because that's crony capitalism. If you're not going to bail out the everyday mom and pop people who are upside down in their homes, then don't bail out the banks. They should not have bailed out the banks. The banks should have failed. Let the chips fall where they may. There will be new banks coming up. There will be foreign investors going ahead and capitalizing new banks and new savings and loans to come up. That was strictly crony capitalism.
That's the problem. That's the thing that you don't understand.
I understand. Oh, I totally understand.
Okay.
Trust me.
So how many banks in the world were actually solvent?
We're only a handful. Only a handful.
In the world? Only a handful. So if American banks get look, listen.
Even today, with all the new regulations that we have,
I'll give you a minute.
Even today, with all the new regulations that we have in place, all the banks that we're going to every day or whatever that we think are solvent really aren't that solvent. You know what I'm saying? If the shit hits the fan, they're going to be in trouble again. You don't have to look forward to see what the problem is. If they have $1 for every dollar that they have on deposit, they can lend out 30. That's all you got to see. From you already know what the problem is just by looking at it from that standpoint.
So if they're all in the same, that's why I took you through scenario. Say all the banks are insolvent, and you let them all fail. Just let them all fail. Let them fail.
They should have let all the banks would not have failed. Definitely not in this country.
And then what?
Look, the credit unions that I banked with would not have failed. You know why? Because credit unions don't make risky loans. Those banks that were out there taking those big risks, getting big payoffs when everything was fine, they probably would have failed. But there would have been plenty of banks. There were plenty of banks that were not exposed to that housing crisis because they didn't have any mortgage-backed securities on their books.
So in other words, if we're talking
every bank is not going to fail, brother.
That's the problem that you don't understand. Every bank was going to fail.
No, every bank would. Every bank was not going to fail. Okay.
How do you know?
That was horse shit.
Really?
Okay. And if those banks that needed money that were going down were going to fail, let them fail. Let the chips fall where they may.
So in other words, if that was the case, why did every country sign on to it and start doing the exact same thing?
It's crony capitalism, homie.
All of them.
Okay, it's crony capitalism. That's why we now what happens is okay. So now what happens is you have all these banks that are still alive today that we, the taxpayers, paid for, and now we have a national debt or deficit or whatever on our books.
Let me ask you.
Our books.
Hold on a second. So since basically, since you know so much, I'm gonna start asking you a question. Okay, say those top banks failed, right? And they have like 80% of the capital, right?
Name them. And they don't name them.
Okay, Chase. Wells Fargo, Bank of America. What's the other one? They had about 70-80% of the market.
No. Listen, homie. There's a big difference between investment banks and banks that are that handle our deposits and our loans.
Commercial banks.
Wells
Fargo is not an investment bank, is it?
Look. Wells Fargo had an investment. I remember Wells Fargo bought Wachovia. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the problem was you had these banks that were taking people's deposits, but they were also doing that risky investment banking. Every bank wasn't doing that. Wasn't playing both sides of the. Credit unions don't do that, homie.
Yes, it will. Oh,
credit unions don't do that.
How much of the market do credit unions?
Bro, exactly. Credit unions don't do that, so you can't say every bank does because credit unions don't do that. And there are people like
hold on
Morgan. I'm listening. I'm just telling you.
No, you're talking. You're not listening. You're talking.
Because I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. So if they fail, if those banks, the big banks that are in trouble, they just collapse and fail because basically the stress test knows that most of those banks had crap in them, okay, because they were sold to all of them, and we're not even talking about the pension funds and whatnot.
Not all of them.
Okay. Say. Okay, give me a percentage of banks that you would survive.
Okay, I bank with Lockheed Credit Union.
That's not what I asked you.
Bank of North Georgia.
I didn't ask.
Delta Employees Credit Union. None of those banks were exposed.
Dude,
okay,
can you answer a question?
BB&T.
Can you answer a question?
A bank like
no.
Have you ever heard of BB&T?
Can you answer a question?
Have you heard of Regions Bank?
Can you answer a question?
None of those banks were exposed.
Can you answer a simple question? I asked you what percentage.
I just answered your question.
No, that's not okay. That's not a percentage, is it?
I'm not giving you percent. I'm giving you names, man.
No.
I'm giving you actual names, brother.
I know, but that's not what I asked for, did I?
Well, okay. So what you were exactly asking me said you are pretty much asking me Preme. I want you to go in your head. And of all the banks, I need a total. You need to go and tally up all the banks that exist in this country, and then find a percentage of those banks that were not insolvent, and then tell me what that per percentile is. But you need to know exactly how many banks there were. I am telling you, I'm giving you chapter and verse. And verse.
Dude, breathe. I pull it out of your ass if you need to.
I'm giving you chapter and verse.
Give me
names of banks.
Give me a ballpark answer, because we can have a basic.
I'm giving you better. I'm giving you better than that.
That's not better. That's not better.
That is better.
Because they can have like 5% of the market. That doesn't mean anything.
My point is,
It's
every bank
it's
was
like
not
asking me.
exposed. Every bank was not
It's like asking me,
exposed. But
is there any
the
other
point.
operating system besides
Okay.
Windows? Okay, yeah, you can start naming all of them, but Windows has 90% of the market.
Okay. But the whole point of this whole subject matter is what?
In other words,
Hmm.
in other words, I started looking at this in 2007.
Okay.
And I thought it was just going to be a few banks. You let a few banks go. Um, you do what like the federal savings and loan scandal. People are going to get hurt. Some investors going to get hurt.
Okay.
But basically, you're going to have a short depression, maybe a short a market crash. But in a couple years, you bounce back and everything's fine,
And
right?
you was looking at this when?
2007.
Okay. I was licensed by banking and finance in '97.
Okay, and so
Hmm.
in other words,
Hmm.
do you understand? In other words, you
And
were
I'm
following.
not fronting. I'm not fronting.
I'm not saying you.
Real talk.
In other words,
Okay.
why are
Okay.
you bullshitting me if you know this stuff? And
I
I
mean,
asked
to
you.
you is bullshit because you don't want to accept the
No.
facts.
I asked you. In other words, if you've been in the game since '97, you could give me a ballpark answer of what percentage that the major banks do
Jesus.
not hold, right? Give me a ballpark, right?
What percentage of the major banks were not insolvent?
In other words, what percentage of the capital market do the large banks do not have? What percentage?
Of the capital markets that the large banks don't have. So when you talk
Commercial
about
banks.
so
Commercial banks.
when you talk about capital markets, you do realize that you're also talking
I
about Wall
asked you a
Street, right?
question. No, I asked you.
You do
I said
realize the
commercial
capital
banking.
markets includes Wall Street. You say off the
We
capital markets.
we ain't gonna talk
The
about that
capital markets includes Wall Street. You
because
do know that, right?
because if we included them, if we really
That's the
included them,
capital markets, brother.
dude, if we included them, we get the rabbit hole would get even deeper.
It's,
If we included them because they owe more money. They owe more money than basically the commercial banks. We just talking about the commercial banks that people have to do business with, okay? Where the regular folks have to do business. That's like when we're talking about the regular folks have to doing business with, right? I
like
asked you a
Lockheed
question.
Credit Union of Georgia.
What
What's that one
percentage?
that all those
Percentage.
military people bank at?
Percentage.
ACCA,
Percentage.
AACA, ADDA that they have all their money in.
Percentage.
They were perfectly
Dude,
safe and
dude,
solvent.
dude.
Okay,
Percentage.
it was crony
Percentage.
capitalism. It was
Dude,
crony capitalism.
you can throw that around all
Okay,
you want. Okay, you've been throwing it
no,
around
I'm just
for the
telling you.
whole. No, no, no.
I'm just telling you.
That doesn't mean anything.
There was no big threat. They
Yes,
all
it
could have went
was.
ahead and gone
No.
into the toilet. They all could have went and
So
gone to the toilet,
so
gone
so
into the
so,
shitter.
so in other words,
There would have been problems,
oh,
but we would have made our way out of it.
so in other words,
Okay, but they got bailed out. They
in other
got bailed
words.
out. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I didn't lose any
Okay,
sleep
I'm gonna
over
let you
it. You
talk.
know what
I'm
I'm
gonna let
saying?
you talk. I'm
I
gonna
didn't.
let you talk.
It is what it is. I didn't lose any sleep over it. You know, it happened. You move on. Okay, so that's what I have for that.
Okay, you didn't answer the question. But anyway, in other words, if it does crash and you have a banking holiday, and
Hmm.
these people, these big banks get run on,
Hmm.
they get run on, and
Hmm.
basically the cards stop working, snap
Hmm.
cards stop working,
Hmm.
all this commerce stops working, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
People don't get paid. Groceries don't
Hmm.
move. Okay, that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
In other words, because the system that allowed groceries to come from a warehouse to a grocery store, all of a sudden that credit line is broken because the banks that actually had that credit line, they're insolvent. They can't. In other words, if I send that food out, I'm not gonna get my money, right?
Oh,
Right? Right?
yeah. This
Right?
sounds familiar.
Right?
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Proceed, please.
Correct. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So Joe Pro that's banking
Uh-huh.
at, okay, give me one. Give me one of the ones you mentioned. On a credit
Oh, one
union.
of the
Yeah, give me one.
Lockheed Credit Union.
Lockheed
Hmm.
Credit Union, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Lockheed Credit
Yes.
Union, right?
Hmm.
And I know that cash is short and there's a run on the bank. What am I going to go do? To Lockheed Credit Union. Because I don't know if Lockheed Credit Union is solvent or not. What am I going to go do?
I don't know what you're gonna go do. You may panic.
Okay, the average Joe, what is he going to go do?
Mm-hmm.
You may not. You might, Preme says, you know what? I have confidence in Lockheed Credit Union. My money is cool, and nothing's going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
And
oh yeah,
you
oh
do
yeah,
it. But
oh yeah,
the average Joe is going to go do what?
oh yeah. He's gonna now whatever the fuck he wants to do. He's either
In
gonna
other words,
chill or he's gonna go ahead and go. I
he
don't
gonna
know,
go.
brother.
He
That's
gonna
up to
go.
him.
He gonna go down
Mm-hmm.
and get his money, right? And it doesn't
He
take.
can. Is this right?
It's his right, okay? And
Is
basically,
this right?
Lockheed Credit Union runs on a fractional reserve system, a premise just like every other credit union or bank, right? So they might be within bounds. It's just say they're pretty safe, okay? They're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be between 1 and 8 and 1 and 12, right? Say they're safe, so they're doing like 1 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
How many? What percentage of their customers do have to come down to and demand all their money for their bank to close or their credit union to close?
You see, you see, you see,
Can you
brother.
answer a question?
You see, brother. Listen,
Can you answer a
because
question?
if you let some words come out my mouth, I
No, no, no,
might.
no.
I
I asked you
might.
a question.
I
No, 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 no,
might.
no. Okay, you know why though? You know why, Preme? Why I don't want you to do that? Because
Why you don't want me to answer?
no, 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 no. No, in other words, why I don't want you. Why I want you to answer, but not say let the words come out of your mouth. Because you know how long it's going to be before you actually answer the question.
I'm about to answer the
No,
question.
no, I know, but how long? In other words, are you going to answer it up front and take 30 seconds? Or are you gonna take 3 minutes to put in whatever you think it might be or whatever it is, and then put it at that 10 seconds at the end?
No, you're going to get an answer, whether you like it or not, bro. That's up to you. But you're going to get an answer if you allow these words.
I want the
Yeah.
answer first. What percentage? I asked you a question.
Look,
No, no, no.
is it time
Look,
for me to answer?
look. It's not an answer. What I asked you, what percentage
Oh,
do you? What would it
Jesus,
take? For,
Lord.
I asked
I'm
you a
just,
question.
I can't get words up.
No,
It's
you
your
can.
show, brother.
It's my
I'm being
answer,
respectful.
dude. Answer the
Uh
question.
huh.
I asked you what
Listen,
percentage do you think it will take for Lockheed to actually fold
brother,
for the people come
brother.
and get their money? Hold on a second. Now I'm gonna give you, man, dude. I was gonna tell you I was gonna give you a minute, but you're belly aching. I'm gonna give you a minute to go ahead and answer, dude. Go.
Look, this is the problem, and I think herein lies the problem with a lot of the stuff that you and I are going back and forth with. Is a lot of your positions and theories about the stuff that I don't agree with. That's just a handful. I'm down with you about 85% of the shit that you say, bro. But it's
Mm-hmm.
there's 50% that I'm not. I'm seeing now a lot of it is rooted in this doomsday worst case
30 seconds
scenario.
to answer the
Chicken
question.
Little. Not. I'm not saying you. You know, Chicken Little. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Whatever that story was. Type of premise, man.
20
You know what I'm
seconds.
saying? And it's like, it's just, God, I
15
don't know, bro.
seconds.
My mind just can't work like that, man.
10
I just can't
seconds.
work from a mindset of being a victim. You know what I'm saying? Or that I can't
5,
do shit about something. You
4,
know what I'm saying? Or that shit
3,
is out of my
2,
hands.
1. Okay, you had a
Yeah,
minute. You had a
man.
minute, and you didn't answer.
It's rough.
In other words, you
It's
didn't answer.
rough.
No, okay, you a minute. You didn't answer the question. That's like I didn't. I said answer the question first. But okay, what about remember Greece?
Hmm.
Okay, that's a run. Spain just had a run on the bank. Italian had a run on 3 banks.
Hmm.
Okay, so in other words,
Hmm.
what you're telling me is that's gloom and doom, and it doesn't is none in reality, and the reality doesn't exist. And so why are they bailing out all these banks if the reality doesn't exist? They're just spending money to spend money.
We build our banks over here, and you know what? We're still here live today talking on Google Hangouts. You know,
Okay.
shit has happened. C'est la vie. Such is life. There are ups, there are downs. You figure your way through it, but you just don't operate from a position of fear, inferiority, or there ain't shit I can
Do
do about
so
it.
you run a
Shit is
business?
gonna happen, man.
You run a business? Do you run a business, right?
Oh hell yeah! And there's ups and downs every day. I guess that's why I'm probably just wired differently because I don't get. I'm
Can you
listening.
answer your question without running
Yes.
on? Thank you. You run a
Yes.
business.
Yes. Yes.
Do
Yes.
in other words, do you plan for ups and downs? You plan for that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do, right?
Always. Why?
So in other words, there's stuff.
My whole life.
So in other
Uh huh.
words, there's things that can go very right, and there's things that can go very wrong. So you have to plan for the things that go very wrong to prevent them from what? From happening, right?
But everything works in my favor,
I
even
didn't
the
say
bad
that.
shit.
But do you plan for it? I'm asking you a question.
Plan for what?
In other words, if things could go wrong, do you plan? Do you plan
Uh
for it?
huh.
How you gonna handle it? Do you plan for it?
Yes, I plan to capitalize on the opportunity.
In other words,
Yeah.
if there's a downside, do you plan
Hmm.
for it?
Do I plan for it?
Yes.
Yeah, because I train myself to capitalize off of any situation and any opportunity because everything works in my favor. So yeah.
So is
Yes.
so
Uh-huh.
do you not think that governments that have billions of people underneath their direction and that are depending on will not plan for the
Look.
same thing?
Okay. Look. Look. Like you gave the scenario a second ago about the guy who didn't get the Obama money and he's falling behind on his bills and what happens when the bank can pay this and they have these debts to
What
pay
did,
and this and that.
what
And
did,
I started laughing. And I started laughing.
what did I
And I
okay?
was
You talking about
because
you're talking about in a video or in this discussion?
no, in the discussion about 5 minutes ago, you're saying, if a bank runs out of money, there's a run, they're insolvent, they can't pay the bills, and you were telling me how it chains on down and connects because they can't pay this vendor, this person runs out of money, yada yada yo.
It's
And
yeah.
I was laughing because that's just a bankruptcy. That's what bankruptcy is. They went bankrupt.
Okay. So what happened?
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Have you ever been bankrupt?
No.
I've been bankrupt twice.
Okay. What happened? Okay.
And listen. And each
Okay.
time that when I see the first time I was dumb about it. I did it like everybody else does. I couldn't pay my car note, wanted to keep the car. I was a kid, like 19. I peeped the game and I figured out how everybody else did it. And well, shit, I can't really get into it. But the second time, I came out like a fucking rose. Okay, because listen. No, this is quotable. This is quotable. I'm about to say some quotable shit right here. Just give me 5 seconds. Oh yeah.
Well, how many seconds? How many seconds?
Give me 20 seconds. Give me 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Yeah, 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Whoa. No.
20. Okay. Everybody else, the mass market consumers, most people, when they file bankruptcy, they do it the way I did it the first time. They do it because they ran out of money. The people who understand the game, they do it so they can keep their shit.
1.
Okay, you got to understand the game.
No. 20 seconds are up.
Okay, so in every bad situation, there is an opportunity to capitalize.
Dude. I gave you 20 seconds. You said 20 seconds, and I gave it to you, and then you're taking a minute. Is that cool?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And
bro, if I'm about to finish a point, just go ahead and let me finish. There's a couple of seconds.
Dude.
This doesn't have to be contentious, man.
No. What I'm saying is, I'm having a sentence. I ask you a simple question to keep the flow going, and you want to run on. Okay, it's not even a conversation. Most of the time, time that we've been on, you've been doing most of the talking. Okay, in other words, you're trying to compare a bankruptcy to a bank run. Are you freaking kidding me?
Listen, if you're telling me this bank runs out of money, they can't pay their bills, they can't pay the debts, they can't keep that's being there. The bank is bankrupt.
Okay. And
they are out of money. Their income is not enough to fulfill their liabilities, their payments. They're bankrupt. That's what bankruptcy is. Let them go bankrupt.
Okay, then if 20
just like anybody else does, just like I did. Let them go bankrupt. and then you learn, and then you come and rise up again like the phoenix.
Let me know when you stop. Let me know when you stop.
I'm not. So I thought I mean I will, but I'm not finished yet.
In other words, I got 20 seconds. I got 20 seconds, and you get 2 minutes, right? Is that what it is?
Well, if you're going to be so hospitable, I mean, I'll do it for you.
In other words, I stopped talking because you're talking through me, and people are listening. Do you want me to shout over you? Do you want me to mute you?
We have not shouted. We have not shouted over each other yet.
You're talking through me. You're still talking through me. When I said in other words, if 20 million people, all of us, a bank of the size of Wells Fargo, who has what, 20, 30 million customers, goes bankrupt, how many people does that affect?
Okay, so shit happens. Let it happen.
Okay.
Let it happen. Let the bodies hit the floor.
I agree with you. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
And what happens when the bodies hit the floor?
Oh, then fuck! They hit the floor.
And then what?
Scrape them up, resuscitate them, do whatever. Kick them to the side and move on. Whatever has to be done.
How long do you think that will take?
Let it happen, and we will find out.
Okay. Let it happen, and we will find out. So
yeah, the bank should have failed. The bank should have failed. I'm not sure how many different ways I could say it. The bank should have failed. I mean, I'm just saying the same thing here.
Yeah, normally they would have. But why? The thing is, why did banks all over the world come into their aid and prop them all up?
Again, I said 2 words: crony capitalism. You know,
what does that mean?
They're looking out for each other.
Now,
they're looking out for each other. Google it.
Okay. Now, what does that mean to you? I can Google. I know what it means. What does it mean to you?
They're looking out for each other.
They're looking out for each other. Okay.
Yeah, they were not abiding by the true principles of capitalism, which means, you know, if you do good, you go ahead and do good, and the sky's the limit. But if you fuck up, you will fuck up, and you will fail on your own. Nobody will be there to go in and help you out. But instead of if you're going down, we're gonna come in there and either save you, or we're going to go ahead and hook you up. Even if you aren't failing, we're going to hook you up and give you these contracts so you can go ahead and get all this extra money and not have you earn it just like everybody else. We're going to show you favoritism.
Okay.
Or nepotism. That's crony capitalism.
Okay, I'm going to talk, or are you going to interrupt me?
I was answering your question, bro.
Okay. In other words,
you interrupted me.
Say that you do that, right?
Yeah.
Say that you do it. Say that you say that, and this is the reason. This is the reason. Remember the bank. Remember the crash in 1930s when all the banks failed.
So I read about it. Yeah, depression.
Depression and all the bank holiday, and people couldn't get their money, and
JP Morgan made a fucking mint. That capitalistic, opportunistic Scottish son of a bitch made a fucking fortune. And not just him.
What happened to
not just him.
Are you going
him, bankers, and there were also people on the streets that made money too. No, brother. I'm going to finish a sentence.
Dude, what I'm saying, you won't let me finish mine.
If you pause and I start a sentence, let me finish my sentence, then you come in. That's dialogue.
Hey, yeah, but you don't.
I'm not.
You don't stop.
But I never cut you off. If I'm in the middle of a sentence, you're the one that's on. See, you just did it. I was in the middle of a sentence.
Dude, you just did. I was in the middle of a sentence. What did you do?
You pause. I started. You jump in while I'm in the middle of my sentence. I always come in during your pause.
Yeah, but I'm saying is that doesn't mean for you to run on. That means for you to do what? Answer. If you're going to jump in, let me finish. How do you know that I finished what I was going to say?
That's why I say you pause, brother. You pause. I come in. I start talking. Then bam, you come in. You jump in. You cut me off.
You just pause.
And you like stop.
You just pause. You just pause. You just paused. What? In other words, okay. Since I can't ask a question and you just answer it, I'll just go ahead and talk, okay? Because that's not going to work. Me asking you a question about why and all that stuff, that's not going to work. Okay, I see that now. Okay, the reason that you have the FDIC, You had the Glass-Steagall Act. You had all that stuff is to prevent the banks from doing what they did. Okay, to prevent them doing what they did. The reason that you had a crash in 2006, 2007, 2008 is because they repealed the Glass-Steagall Act in 1999 under Bill Clinton. The only problem was that they normally, and I asked an economist about this, normally it is a domestic problem. If it's a domestic problem, then you can come in, put people out of work. You can actually close all the banks. People will suffer. Um, money will get, money will, the shareholders will be vanquished. They'll be broke and whatnot. People, depositors won't have any money. You can reset the system, start over again. The difference between this time and this time and what had happened in the past is you have a global market. You had distributed all this poison throughout the whole banking system in the entire planet. So in other words, if you let one bank, large bank crash, which is the reason the G20 was formed, and the G20 came in September before the TARP was even passed, the reason that what's his name actually got there in front of Congress, got down on one knee and said, you have to do this. You have to pass TARP. Because if you don't pass TARP, the banking system and whole entire globe is cooked. It's cooked. And so you will not have a financial architect because you will have a cascading system around the entire globe. And guess what? And nobody knows what will happen. You have 7.5 billion people that depend on this financial architecture. If it goes away, you don't know whether it's going to get rebooted or not. Now you can talk.
You see, everybody knows. It's safe to say everybody knows that we had that whole bank failure crisis 2006, 7, 8 because of the mortgage-backed securities. It was a mortgage meltdown. Okay, it wasn't lack of jobs or economy. It was a mortgage meltdown. I told you back in 1997, I was licensed by banking and finance. I was in the mortgage game. Okay, I was doing mortgage loans. When I say everybody was eating fat off of that hog. Okay, from the big banks from Wall Street down to the fucking home inspector. Everybody was eating fat off that hog. Everybody was pretending. Anybody would bullshit you who didn't say that they weren't eating fat off that hog and they weren't looking the other way. Okay, you will go to mortgage closings where you will have strippers there with their pimps, and these strippers will be buying their fourth and fifth house. Okay, looking at some W-2s and some paycheck stubs, and you're like, this shit don't even look right. But the loan processor underwriter at the bank, they got a quarter to make so they can hit their bonus. The bank wants that loan to come through so they can go ahead and mortgage back it off and sell it to some pension fund. That pension fund buys it, thinking it's getting some quad, triple, quad A rated, security, not knowing that they holding on to bullshit. So everybody, the appraiser's jacking up the price on the house because he wants to get more appraisal jobs from the realtor, because if he gives him too low of a fucking appraiser, the realtor and the mortgage broker or the loan officer can go ahead and roll the closing costs into the loan. Everybody was eating fat off of that hog. Okay, so that bank whole shit was about mortgage-backed securities, and if people want to put on the banks, but I'm telling you, we all was eating fat off of that hog then. Okay, everybody was. Okay, so shit happens and this, that, whatever. So it wasn't some big global conspiracy, whatever. But when the shit did happen, they bailed out the banks. But that stripper that was, had them 4 houses, them 4 mortgages or whatever, and didn't know what the fuck she was doing because her John they was flipping it between one guy to the next guy and making some money off of that. She got left holding all them damn houses that she had that went under. Nobody came and went ahead and saved her. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it was a fucked up game, but we all played. But we all played that game. We all played that game, man. So it is what it is. It is what it is, man.
Who did you sell? Who did these people rolling up all these CDOs in what I forget all the doggone names now because it's been so long since I wrote the paper.
Yeah, it's something like that. CDO.
Because everybody knew this. Everybody knew that this stuff was poison. Even what's his name? Said it was poison. Going back, do you remember Orange County and Bank of Credit Suisse First Boston when Orange County got taken for $1 billion
When Orange County got taken, or when Credit Suisse got taken?
in '94. Remember that?
Who got taken?
Orange
Orange.
County got for $1 billion. In fact, they took their school system about 10 years to recover.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
You
What the
remember
fuck
that?
happened there? No, what the fuck happened there?
CDOs, mortgage-backed securities. Same stuff they were selling 10 years, 5, 6 years later.
Okay. Yeah, because again, and that's why a lot of those pension funds and those pension retirement funds and those school districts got caught up into it because they normally buy bonds and safe stuff, but the rating agencies was rating this junk as AAA or Quad A or whatever. So to them, they're like, okay, this is perfectly safe. They didn't know that they was buying bullshit. But
Who
then
else
when
would
the shit actually hit the fan, they found out what they had on their books.
who else were they selling it to?
They were selling to Wall Street. They were selling it to each other. They were selling it to pension funds. Um,
Country?
they were selling it. They were selling to countries. I think
Mhm.
Iceland got caught up in some big shit.
Yeah.
Or
Ireland?
Greenland. One of the two. Ireland got caught up in some shit.
Yeah. Greece?
Um, Greece. Yeah, Greece probably. Yeah, Greece probably too.
Germany? Spain?
Uh,
England?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
China?
yeah.
China?
Again,
So in other words,
yeah, again because. Mhm,
the only difference between external debts and internal debts. There's a big difference
mhm.
between external debts and internal debts. External debts, the laws in your country can liquidate them. External debts are international. They don't get liquidated.
Okay, so that's why Greece had to go through that whole austerity thing because they just couldn't throw them off of their books because the people that they owed money to said, "Hey, you got to, come hell or high water, you got to go ahead and pay us our money back." So you know what? Start implementing all these austerity measures and cut back on these social programs and cut back on this and cut back on that and get it from your people because you got to pay us our money. So
Exactly.
vulture capitalists have been doing that shit for like forever. They do that shit in Africa. This one guy was studying. I was watching something on. He did it
And we got to hurry up.
Argentina or Brazil.
We
But
got to hurry up and wrap this up because I have another hangout
I'm
with.
cool.
In other
Yeah.
words, basically what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna give you the 5 minute skinny and what's going on and exactly why they're doing it and why this actually fits in with the cryptos and is actually the UBI, the cryptos, blockchain, and AIs are all interlined,
It
all
was
intertwined.
it was saying. I think
You gonna go ahead, man.
there was some guy that came on yesterday said Morrison or Massey last name was starts with an M said it's talking about Bitcoin's in a bubble or something like that. It might be in a bubble or something like that.
Well, you've been in the game long enough that when you
I know
trade,
nothing about Bitcoin. I know nothing about Bitcoin. I know now. I'll be the first to admit.
what was I
I
gonna
know
say?
not
What was I gonna say?
that I've been in the game long enough to.
In other words, you didn't let me finish my sentence, did you?
No. True. Yeah. Exactly. Guilty.
Okay, that's what
You
I'm
got
talking.
me. You got me on that one, man. You
No,
got me
no,
on
no.
that
I
one.
got you in a few of them, but anyway, what I was
That's
going
true.
to say, you've been in the game long enough to know
Hmm.
that basically when you trade and you speculate, it's always a what? It's a
There's
bubble.
always a risk.
It's a high risk, and especially
Hmm.
highly volatile and speculative stuff like this is always a what? A bubble. Now how big the bubble is, and when it gets pricked, how far down it will fall is another story. And I've already explained the reason that the run up on Bitcoin, which nobody actually listens to, because too many people are actually judging the information to actually check it out because you're not checking it out. I know you're not checking it out because you're flying off at the hip.
Because I just told you a second ago, I know nothing about Bitcoin.
And it doesn't
Hmm.
matter. It could be dollars, it could be francs, it could be oil, it could be gold, it could be silver. Anytime there's a high speculative atmosphere, you're gonna have what? You're gonna have bubbles. But you didn't trade. I traded. So this stuff is nothing new to me. I know a bubble when I see one. Sometimes they
Oh,
pop. If they, they'll always pop
I hope you
depending
make
on
some
how
bread.
far. They always
I hope you make
pop, but
some bread on the way up.
okay. They always pop, but how far they go down is another thing. That's what they call a
Mm,
bubble. But the thing is, they're all connected. They're all connected for a reason. Okay, is
mm.
because that those banks that were in trouble, that's why I always play Richard Martin. The banks that were in trouble in 2007 are still in trouble in 2017. And basically,
I agree.
zero interest rates. You've been in the mortgage game long enough to know that the reason that you give banks free money so they can make loans is to do what? So they can build up what? They can build up capital. They can build up reserves, right? In other words, if I have 80% of my banks or however many percentage that you're willing to accept that are at that 30 to 25, 30 to 1, you're supposed to be down at 12, and I need them to get down. What am I going to have to do? Have they allow them to
That's
do?
not how banks listen. The banks keeping money on deposit or in reserves is completely worthless. That's not how banks work. Banks don't make money that way. Banks make money on loans.
And
That's
okay,
why
if
the easiest. That's why there's never any shortage of capital.
they
Banks love
do,
lending out money.
if
They lend
okay,
out money all the time.
if you
That's
know
what they're in the
if you
business
know
to
how
do.
if you know
Hmm.
how banks work and
Oh yeah. Oh
legally
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
legally
Oh yeah.
legally I mandate they're supposed to get the Bank of International Settlement has mandated that they get down to their normal range, which is 12 to 1, which is what? Which in other words, half of where they should be, right? Where they are right now, right?
You
Right?
know what's funny? You know what's funny about this? Listen, this much I can tell you. I will rarely admit you probably know everything and anything about how the regulations of banks and how they work. But I'll tell you this: I know anything and everything about how to get money out of a
Okay,
bank.
okay, okay, okay. That's
Okay, now
wait, wait,
which
no, no, no,
set
no, no.
of information,
Hold on a second. Hold on,
which knowledge, and which set of information is more advantageous to the individual
dude.
person?
I got 10 minutes. I'm trying to wrap this up, and you're interrupting me.
We got plenty of time.
You have plenty of time,
You got
but
10 minutes.
in other words, I don't have 10 minutes if you keep doing what? This,
I was making a
in,
point
in other words,
that
in other words, I'm giving you game. Okay, this is the
no, no,
game.
no, 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 no. Game is
Dude,
teaching
dude,
brothers how to
dude,
get money
dude,
out of a bank.
dude,
That's
dude, dude,
game.
dude.
Brothers need to know how to get money out of a bank.
Let me finish, okay? Let me finish so I can go. Okay, let me finish. Okay, I'm trying to tell you exactly what's going on. The reason that you had zero interest rates for God knows how long is because if you want banks to bring the reserve rate down from 30 down to 12, you have to allow them to make money so they can actually build their reserves up. So in other words, you give them free money or
Hmm.
almost free money so they can lend it at 3, 4, 5, six
Amen.
percent, and basically, and those
3%. 3%. Amen. And I feel sorry.
how about
I feel
credit cards, car loans, and all that stuff. In other words, let me
I,
can I please finish this?
I pity the fool who did
Can I
not get as
can
much
I
money
please
out of banks when
can I
when
please
they were loaning out at
can I
those
please
low interest rates. That's what they do.
can I please finish this?
Hmm.
Can I finish this? All right.
Hmm.
This is not. I'm not asking you a question. This is me to wrap up so I can get out of here because I haven't even started to finish it. Okay. In other words, in other words, that's the reason they did it. But the thing is, they've tried it for 10 years. They can't do it. Okay, and they're tired of doing what they're tired of pumping the lifeblood of all these countries, all these regular folks into these banks to keep them alive. Okay. In other words, basically, they believe now whether it's true or not, I don't know because I can't look at all the books. The Bank of International Settlements don't share the books publicly. But they believe by the way they're reacting, right, the way China's reacting, Europe is reacting, they believe that the banks are terminal, all of them. The banking system as we know it are terminal. That's what they're acting as if that they believe all the banks are terminal. So basically, um,
Hmm.
basically the cryptos and blockchain and AIs are to do what? In other words, you cannot with a complex system uh, architecture this large, you can't collapse it, because if you collapse it, what's going to happen? You don't know that you're going to reboot it. If you can't reboot it, it's not going to take. You don't have 5, 6, 10 years to actually rebuild a financial architecture, because it's a system of trust, and it took hell the Bretton Woods took 10 years to build. You don't have that. You don't have that kind of time, because people are going to start dying if you don't. You're going to have revolutions. You're going to have all kind of turmoil, and you could lose 40% of your people. They don't have time for that. So what they're trying to do as we speak with the cryptos, AI, and all the other stuff, UBI, and all that stuff, is build another architecture inside the building they're already at. So in other words, when the old one collapses, as they believe that it is, because they're racing like freaking crazy to build it, they believe that when the old building collapses, you have a new financial architecture to take its place. It's going to be rough, but at least you have a shot of keeping a system going to where people can actually function. So that is the reason that is the reason that they're letting automation go buck wild, and so damn the torpedoes. We need automation. Let it go buck wild, because basically that's the only way to save the system. What is the fallout of letting automation and AIs and all that stuff go buck wild? People are going to get displaced. People are already the wealth gap is already large. It's over 70%. If you let the AIs go crazy, within 5 years, it'll probably be like 90%.
Well,
and the technology, that's how come you have Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and all these people in tech that actually know what's going on. And basically, I've been reporting on it for a year and a half, so that so that people can actually see it. In other words, within 10, 15 years, 90% of your jobs will be gone. What do you do with the people? In other words, if they're not trained for it, they're not trained for this environment. It takes people, it takes a culture a heck of a long time to change and to adjust. And if you don't want disruption, you don't want the architecture that you built over the last 200 years to collapse and die, you go back into a dark age. You need to give them a bridge. UBI is a bridge to something else, because it's the only bridge that you have. Because if they go and buck wild, letting everything go, then you're gonna have to give those 6 or 7 billion people a bridge to survive. Otherwise, they will tear down your system.
Okay, this is what you do. So in the meantime, I implore all your IBMOR brothers, while these banks have these low interest rates, go in there and snatch out as much money as you can and bet on yourself. Create some opportunities to bet on yourself. As far as the automation thing, what you can do, the individual, I'll give you an example. What I did, I joined bigger cities. We have these things called Meetup, meetup.com, Meetup groups or whatever.
You got 2 minutes.
Just go to Meetup and find you a Meetup group that's talking about AI. Get into neural networks, NEURAL, neural networks and computer vision. I mentioned this on Ron Will's podcast last week. Some stocks you may want to look at. There's one called NVIDIA. It's another stock called AMD. They are the leading chip makers for AI, computer vision, and neural networks. Again, take these outcomes into your own hand. Take the initiative. Okay, be opportunistic. Be capitalist. Okay, seize the opportunity. Change is coming. Yes, but capitalize off of this shit, man. Don't just sit and wait to get fucked in the ass. Make a mint. Make a mint. Yeah.
Is that it? That's all you got?
God bless capitalism.
for as long as it lasts. And it won't last very long.
Hey man, I'm gonna fight tooth and nail, man. Y'all gotta take me out feet first, man, before I let that shit go. I'm going out with it, brother. I'm going out with it. I'll be damned.
Well, go ahead, bro. They don't care feet first, head first. It doesn't matter, man. You go in that capitalist. You go out in that capitalist grind machine, and you find out how it is.
On my shield, bro. On my shield. I'm going out on my shield, man. You damn right.
They took your shield already, man. You ain't got no shield.
Okay.
You ain't got no shield. You ain't got no
Hey,
shield,
but
man.
but I really appreciate you taking your time, man. I respect it. I apologize for being interruptive. That's my style. I'm a lot
I
worse than that, believe it or not.
I understand.
It's
Well, the
it's it's
thing,
a, it's a bad habit I got to work on. I
in
apologize.
other words, normally when somebody interrupts you, don't let me talk, I start cussing and I start cutting them off. But since
I've
I
heard.
know, I heard, since you don't, since you mean well, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you raw for like 1 minute. I'll give it to you raw
Oh
like
shit!
one
Come
minute.
on, man.
Okay.
Why?
I'm no just so you can
Is that a
feel it
bad thing?
because you
Come
heard
on,
me.
man.
You
Man, we ain't on
you
a positive note,
no no
man.
no no
Don't
no
do
no
me like
no
that,
no no no
bro.
no huh no. I'm gonna give it to you raw for 1 minute because I could have done it.
Oh my
In other
man,
words,
come on, man.
okay,
We're doing so good.
I'll
Let's
give you
stay positive.
I'll give you the PG version. I'll do that for you. I'll give you the
Okay,
PG
okay,
version.
okay,
Okay.
okay, okay,
It's
okay.
okay for after studying this man for 20 years, man, studying the Chinese for 20 years, man, and doing this stuff because this, like I said, you hear me online. I'm just starting to pull out the dark side stuff. Okay, if you in 2009, man, I was writing papers on this stuff. And in other words, remember when Bear Stearns started to fall and Kramer actually announced that that something was going on. Okay,
I knew
that's
all that.
you
I
know
knew all that shit was gonna happen. Meredith Whitney, this blonde chick on Wall Street. She married a wrestler. She was the first one to sound the whistle. Said we're in the fucking bubble. This shit doesn't make sense. I
so in
saw
other
her on
words,
CNBC. Everybody said she was wacko, but the broad made sense, and that's why I got out of the mortgage game and got into the home services game.
you know,
Everybody thought I was crazy,
in other
but
words, that's how come
mhm,
Richard Martin was started doing it in 2005. Gerald Celente started
that
doing it in 2006. In other words,
you're right. You're right. You're right.
all these people that I play
Mhm.
that I play all
Mhm.
knew the bubble was first, but they were the only ones that would say something.
Mhm.
Okay, they're the only ones that they've been saying it. They were the only ones that say something. What they did not know, the difference between the bubble popping, because I knew the bubble was going to pop in 2006 when I read was with a friend, and those mortgage contracts that that that
Exactly.
that you find. I was reading them and said, "Oh shit, okay, I know what they're doing." I said, "They're putting these things up into bonds." And I said, "This stuff is going to crash just like it did in '94." I knew it was going to happen, but what people did not know is how extensive that this poison was all the way through. And that is the difference. That's a fundamental difference. In other words, normally it's one country or one sector that will collapse. Okay. The poison was through the whole system. The G20 was formed to handle the whole system because the only way they were going to possibly ever get out of the mess, because it was impossible to get out of, is to come together and do it in synchronization. That was the whole thing. And now that that's breaking down, the system will probably die. They need to form another one. Now, what it's going to look like on the other side, we don't know. For the G20 and for the especially World Economic Forum, which is the most conservative group on the planet, to do something this wild and seemingly this crazy, because this is a freaking Hail Mary. That's why I say, if when 6,000 of this of the richest people, most influential people can get on the same page and agree, there's something scary coming down the line. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you need to open your eyes, put your shield down, put your spectacles on,
I
and
bet you I come up.
and
I
stu-
bet you I come up.
and
I bet you I
study.
come up. I
And
bet you I come up.
well, you can okay, you can come. Okay, say you come up. Just say you come up, and that's what we talk about. The other side, shit hits the fan.
And I'm not selfish.
Hold on,
And I'm not
hold on a
selfish.
minute, dude. Hold on for a minute. If you come up, and shit does hit the fan, and
Hmm.
you're in North Georgia. Now, hopefully you're like 100 miles.
I'm
Hold
in
on.
Marietta. I'm in
Okay.
Marietta. It's not
Oh
it.
shit.
You know,
Oh no,
it's
hell.
not it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not farmland or no shit like that. I was joking when
In
I'm
other
in It's still North Georgia, but it's
in other
Marietta.
words, if the shit hits the fan
Hmm.
and it takes 3 days for the supermarkets to get empty because there is no supplies coming because
Oh
nobody has
God.
any money and stuff like that, and you're in Marietta, okay? Enough said. So you can be on your shield. You can be on your shield manning your gun with your supplies and your water behind you. Okay.
Bro.
Anyway, I got to go, man.
Bro.
I got to go. In other words, that's what I'm talking about, man. And that's, you know, so in other words,
Again,
defeatist, defeatist,
listen,
all
I'm
this.
good. If
Okay, I hope
all
so.
if all of the shells run out, all I
I,
need is enough gas in the car to get me to a certain place, and I'll be
uh,
just fine there
I pray.
for
I, I,
forever,
I,
for a good little while. I
I
got
pray.
everything. I'll have everything I need right
I
there.
pray to
Okay,
God that
I
you are
can't get
correct.
into it right now, but again, that's the
No, you don't
type of
have to.
mindset, and that's what folks need to be talking about. Is how to
What,
go ahead and prepare for things like this
in other words,
instead of saying,
in other words, you basically you see what I'm saying is defeatist, but you're already prepared for it. That's what you're saying. So in other
Well,
words, don't. So in other words, stop bullying me.
hold
Stop BSing
on.
me. I gotta go, man. I gotta run because it's 7:31 and I'm supposed to be there already. Supposed to have.
Again, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the
All right.
time.
All
All
right.
right, man. All right,
Later.
peace.